Hey, how's it going guys? Reed here and welcome to ReadReborn. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. In today's video, I'm just going to be going over, like a short overview of Devblog 3, the Riders of Icarus Open Beta and beyond. I just sort of want to recap sort of everything that was written in this devlog in sort of a shortened version. I'm not going to read through all of it. I've sort of condensed some notes down for myself so I can just sort of go through those and give my thoughts and opinions on what was in this devblog. Personally, I thought it was really good. There is quite a lot of content in this, so let's crack on and let's get through. So first up, obviously the writer, here's Q Il-no. He's the development director, and then just in this first paragraph, we can expect future updates, which is a level cap increase in the future, which takes us up from level 25 to 35, because 25 is the max level. So also in these updates we can expect new regions, mass raid bosses, new PvP only regions, and the familiar farm. And basically just said that there's been lots of improvements since closed beta test 3, which include like better tutorials, new controls, reduced penalties for tempering, and then they've been fine-tuning content to make the game more immersive and stuff, which sounds really cool. I'm glad that they're putting more effort into making it more immersive, because everyone loves an immersive game that you care about, which is one of the main things about an MMO. So next up, increasing the level cap, like I just said. The max level currently will be level 25, so when the head start starts in 5 hours, crazy, that's going to be level 25, but then future, he said later in July, so that's probably going to be late July, maybe 2 or 3 weeks after the official launch. He's going to increase the cap to level 35, and then there's a ton of new content to come in this patch. Obviously the level cap increase, and a whole zone which is called Parna's Coast. As you can see, I'm just going to scroll down a little bit and show you guys some of the like not fan art, sort of concept art from this zone. It looks really neat, sort of a wintry zone. And there's an area inside Parna's Coast called Parna's Frost, and basically mount speed will be affected if the mount is from another zone, but mounts native to the zone aren't affected, because they said that they're like used to all the conditions and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool that different areas going to be affected by different weathers and stuff. Like mounts can be affected by weathers. I like that. And then there's also Cavern of the Veil, which just a short little intro bit of text about there, but then concept art. I believe that's going to be a possible dungeon, because they said gigantic underground cave guarded by Templars, so obviously I think that might be a dungeon. And then the Frost Keep as well. This might be a possible raid, I'm guessing, just because if you've played any of the closed beta tests, just from the first sort of story cutscene, you'll see that Rondo abducted the princess Lania, as you can see there. That was a pretty big part of the story, so I believe it could be sort of climaxing up to that, which could be a raid. I'm not too sure, but if not, probably a dungeon or something like that. It does look pretty cool though, and I like that. And then there's also additional regions, which are called Akrat, the Cloying Wastes, Elora Sanctuary, and Tritael Rift, which look really neat. And I think these screenshots, this top one here with this tower, looks a bit like Akrat. Then the second one looks like the Cloying Waste, because they said that was a bit like a deserty area. And then the final one being the Elora Sanctuary. We don't really have, I believe that's what they are. And then there's not one for Tritael Rift, so I'm not too sure. And then they also just went on to say that like each region had sort of specific ecosystems, dungeons, and familiars and stuff. And then talking of familiars, each zone has their own mounts, and there's one here. Basically, it just sort of explained about what sort of mounts you might find in each of the areas. As you can see, Pegasus, another flying mount's protecting Tritael Rift, and stuff like that, and just basically what to expect in mounts from the different zones. So next up, PvP. They're going to be introducing a new battlefield system, which includes elements of PvP and PvP. The PvE side being battling monsters, bosses and stuff like that, and then obviously the PvP element, other players and other teams. And the game seems to be centered around attacking the main boss and fending off enemy players, stealing your kills. And then the match winner is determined by scores. So I'm believing you're going to get points for killing enemies. There's going to be different sort of scores of points. Some some enemies are going to give you maybe 1 point, an enemy's going to give you 5, and then the main boss is going to give you like 25 or something like that, and then whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins. But that sounds really interesting. Obviously mixed with PvE, trying to make it appeal to more of the PvE players that don't really touch PvP. So that's quite nice they're doing that. I'll definitely be checking that out. And then there's also a PvP only region called the Icarus Badlands. Now this sounds pretty neat. I'm not going to lie. It's a zone that is from level 25 and above, and everyone who's not in your party or guild is considered an enemy. And then they also said that this zone, just a couple of screenshots here, they said that this zone would contain familiars not found anywhere else in the world, and also rare items, and these items can give you attributes closely related to PvP, and they said they'd be highly sought after, so I'm guessing they're going to be pretty rare, and people are going to be wanting to get these items. But as you can see from these screenshots, some of the mounts look cool, and the area's also looking cool as well. So then, further down, we've got guilds, and it's just sort of about guild alliances. You have to level up your guild, obviously, first, but once you get that to level 3, you can join an alliance, and then sort of wage war against other alliances, which, yeah, that's pretty neat. So, obviously, an alliance is just multiple different guilds together, and then you fight against other alliances, so it's like huge guild, like sort of guild groups versus guild groups, which is pretty cool. That sounds quite nice. And then guild battles, which will be carried out weekly in the Icarus Badlands, and that is at the early levels. That's server exclusive. So this is kind of hard because they didn't really give too much information here, as you can literally just see from the text. In the early levels, there will be server battles, to sort of determine the strongest guild in each server, so guild v guild in that region weekly, and then at later levels there will be cross server battles, and then the winning server will get a server wide buff that lasts for a whole week, which is really cool. So early levels guild v guild, higher levels server v server, like world v world, which is pretty neat. I'm glad that they're introducing not only like small scale PvP but large scale as well, which is really cool, sort of a Guild Wars 2 style. And then the familiar farm, literally this 1.5 line is all we got. Basically, there's really not that much info. They just said expect some more information in an upcoming blog. But the familiar farm is just basically where you can sort of AFK level your pets, I think. Just you send them to the farm and they level up even when you're not using them. That's basically all I know so far. But anyways, that's that. That's expect more information later. So then the next bits are actually really cool. All this bit about sort of the free-to-play aspect and the cash shop and stuff like that. So they said that they were deliberately trying to tailor the game to the Western audience, basically reducing pay-to-win, because obviously that's quite a big concern. People don't want the games to be pay-to-win. Games that normally come over from the East, like similar to Black Desert recently, have offered like pay-to-win aspects, but they said that they're trying to sort of reduce that and appeal to players. They're trying to get players to enjoy the game without spending money, and making the microtransaction currency, which is Ellen's, a lot easier to get from just normal gameplay. So yeah, if I scroll down here, they said that dedicated players can earn $25 worth every month through questing, missions and stuff, and then there's a total of $60 through achievements. And that's still, even after that, that's still looking at more ways to earn. Obviously, you're probably not going to get your $60 value for achievements because some of them are going to be really tough to get. But you can definitely, and then they said dedicated players, which probably means like hardcore players that have the time to do these crazy missions. But if you can manage to do, like, I reckon even casual players can get $10, $15 worth a month, which is really neat. Obviously, yeah, it's nice at that, getting players microtransaction currency so they can spend it in the shop without actually having to spend real money. And then they also said they're giving items no competitive advantage. So like Black Desert with that ghillie suit thing, where it was in PvP, your name was untargetable if you were wearing it and stuff. There's going to be nothing like that. There's no competitive advantage. They made that pretty specific, so it's more pay for convenience and stuff like that. So next up, there's a couple of changes to tempering. Tempering is basically upgrading gear, and if you failed, you could end up in like broken gear and stuff. But they said they lowered the chance to fail up to level 10, which is a lot higher than before. And then hardcore players can go higher, but it just allows casual players to sort of get up to those high levels of weapons and gear and participate in stuff. Which is again nice that they're including more casual players and trying to get them involved in probably like end game content. So they did say that tempering is really only going to be used at end game, so that's nice. And then further down, we've got the cash shop, basically saying that, yeah, like I said, they're removing the competitive advantage and that there's more convenience based, and they can obtain cash shop. Not only cash shop currency, but also cash shop items via missions, so sort of bags, mount skins and stuff like that. Character costumes have no bonus stats and are permanent, not time based, so yeah, that's sort of like what I just covered. And yeah, like I said, they can get them through gameplay, so that's pretty much all of that. Talismans are now exclusively available in the Founders Packs, so there's no more of those after launch. Because yeah, I can see that they were pretty good to have. If you bought like some of the legendary packs and got them for 60 days, that's pretty good. They were looking pretty neat. Quite a lot of bonuses on those, but they look like they're stopping those and they're only available in those Founders Packs now. Now the next thing could cause a bit of controversy. There's lucky boxes in the cash shop, so fingers crossed they're really not RNG based and stuff like that, because yeah, we've seen stuff like that in the past that's failed and it's been pretty tough. But there's lucky boxes anyway and familiar skins and stuff, but luckily you can break down some of these skins and some of these items from these lucky boxes into a currency called lucky coins. So if you don't like anything from this lucky box, you can just break them down into coins and then save those coins and spend it on something that you actually wanted. So that's nice. That's sort of halfway there, sort of reducing that whole RNG aspect. If you don't get it, tough. It's at least giving you a chance to save up for something that you might want, or something that's really like rare or worth having. So I'm kind of glad that they've done that, to add that in at least. And then finally, PvP, they're balancing the PvP experience, so it's not affected by how much a player spends and anyone can get involved. So that's really nice. And then finally, this last little paragraph at the end, they just said that they want to keep sort of developing the game with keeping the community in mind, and they just wanted feedback and stuff constantly so they could keep improving. So basically that is the whole of Devblog 3. That is just an overview. That's a quick overview. I know this video might have gone on for a little while, but yeah, that is like a quick overview. I've just gone through everything, sort of a TLDR of every paragraph in this devblog. Personally, yeah, like I said at the start, I'm quite pleased with that. It does seem like they've listened to the community and bringing in stuff to try and include more casual players that don't have the money to spend in the cash shop, and stuff like that. And they're trying to make it okay, but obviously there's people still might be a bit like, I don't know. But this is a good step in the right direction, I believe. It seems like they're making good progress with the development and stuff. But yeah, anyway guys, that is, like I said, my little overview of Devblog 3. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please feel free to hit that like and subscribe button if you did enjoy this video, because it always helps me out and I'll be very grateful if you did. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I'm sure I will see you again really soon.